truth, the money never.
So we have the Nike Running Zoom Fly today. So this is a really cool technological shoe from Nike, part of the Breaking 2 project that happened last year, where Kipchoge was 25 seconds away from making history. He still made history anyway, he got 2 hours and 25 seconds, which is unheard of. And it was a great project. But yeah, this is one of the shoes that came out of it. Obviously Kipchoge was in the 4%, which is kind of the spec up from this. This is the one which I say is a little bit more targeted at your general runner as well, but as I'd like to say already, I think it's more towards that upper elite-ish end of that general runner. So we're going to go through the shoe today and I'll talk about some of the key specs and we'll go from there. So first things first, always starting with that upper. So upper on this shoe is really lightweight, seamless. It's barely even there. It's a one-piece upper as well, so there's no extra overlays or attachments on there. Again, just adding to that super lightweight feel of this shoe. A key thing that I really love about this shoe is what's going on with the tongue. So it's super thin the whole way through down the shoe. Really kind of just slips over the top of the foot when you're lacing up the shoe and you're really not aware that it's even there. Coming into that midfoot and the upper, you can see Nike's classic fly wire starting from that around that metatarsal area all the way up through to the top of the foot there, really locking down when you tighten those laces and holding that midfoot really greatly. Jumping into the back of the heel, do you know what? I've got nothing really to say too much about it. You can kind of feel the heel. Yeah, the heel counter's there. It's quite small though, and there's not too much reinforcement. So I think I wouldn't say it's a wide fit, but it's not super nippy through the ankles. That's what I would say based on my personal fit. Dropping now into the awesome midsole. So what's great about this shoe is it has a kind of nylon mixed carbon plate, which basically makes it super responsive. You can almost see the outline of the shape of the plate from this black line that runs down through the colorway here, and it really helps to give you that responsive toe off. Like as soon as I put these on, went to go forwards, I literally felt like I was being pinged forwards. I first tried it out on a treadmill when I was at work, and I would normally run at about 13 k's an hour, comfy pace. Had to put it up to at least 14 just to really get that awesome feel of this shoe. So yeah, if you want that quick toe off speed, absolutely feel that in this shoe. You've then got a mix of Lunarlon, which is Nike's normal kind of softish foam, which is helped for shock absorbency and things like that, and it's in loads of their other shoes as well. So they've combined this plate formation in there with the Lunarlon cushioning to give you that ultimate feel. Personally, when I was running with it, classic Emma, because it was actually a little bit too firm for me, my feet did go numb a little bit. So I know personally I need to break shoes in, and that's why my feet go numb really early. So I definitely need a couple more runs in these. I've probably done about 10 miles or so in them already. So definitely a shoe, give or take, takes about 20 miles or so to break in. So I probably need to double that mileage a little bit to really get the proper feel out of it. But ultimately, really nice ride. In terms of the general fit, there's one thing that I'd just be aware of. It's not that I didn't like it, but in terms of if you look down the shoe, and I'll probably flip it over, you probably see it a little bit more, it is very nippy through this sort of midfoot area. And for me, around that area, you've got a muscle called your post-tib. Now, post-tib is there to help control the foot splay on the ground and put it back up. I felt my post-tib having to work a little bit harder because it wasn't held inside that shoe. I didn't feel that I was being held nicely through that sort of midfoot area. So potentially chucking an insole would absolutely solve that. But yeah, that's the only kind of, not complaint, but just issue that I felt. Didn't change how I ran in it or anything like that. I was just aware that it wasn't being held as well. As we're on the outsole, let's have a look. Reinforced rubber on the toe box there, obviously to help with that toe off. And for those of us that still do slightly heel strike, there is that reinforced rubber on the heel as well. You can see the nice dynamic fit through the back, which I didn't mention before, really to help be as super efficient and streamlined as possible. The one thing I'd say if I was to kind of critique the shoe a little bit further is the cushioning is already, for me, started creasing. So as I say, I've only run 10 miles in it, and for the EVA to already be breaking down quite quickly, it does make me consider how long are you going to be running in this shoe. Of course, it's for elites, it's made for the elites, so potentially, yeah, you are looking at a shoe that's only going to take you about 100 miles or so, so potentially I'll save it for races. But yeah, for the price point, £130, to get this technology, for someone like me who's a bit of a trainer geek, I think it's an awesome shoe. I'm really looking forward to running it more. Personally, I think 10k is absolutely flying it. Potentially I'll try it out for a half as well. Marathon wise, of course it can do marathons, but potentially more for those elite runners who can utilise the responsiveness and the springiness of that carbon nylon plate and really get to use it to its best capabilities basically. So yeah, the Nike Zoom Fly, believe for men's just coming in at over 200 grams. The women's in a size 6 is coming in at actually 184 grams, so pretty nice and lightweight. Yeah, give it a shot. If you've been running in things like the Ultra Boost, things like that, it doesn't really compare. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to, but you can't, because it's in a league of its own with that nylon carbon plate in there. You've just got to run it. So yeah, the Nike Zoom Fly. Give it a go.